Have you ever loved something so much that you just want to make it happen every day? Me neither. This is a podcast a day. Another day, another pod, another film. Did we just find ourselves a new little catchy little intro there? I think we did. But that is on the basis of what's going on. It is another day. This is another pod, you might be sad to hear. And we are talking about another film that I despise. Because as you know, I go through my letterboxd, I find my lowest rated films, and I recommend those to you. Because I notoriously have awful taste. Which means if I hate it, I don't know, maybe you might love it. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say that at the beginning of these until I can eventually just stop. But, you know, I just feel like I have to explain it at the beginning every single time. It's maybe slightly confusing otherwise. And maybe it still is anyway. Today's film, I don't know why I do like a little drum roll up to it as if like it's not in the title. You already know. It is a film directed by Ruben Fleischer, I believe is how you'd say that. Not heard of him. We're going to be looking deep into who this character is. Well, not really. We're going to look at his discography? Filmography. I don't know if he's got a music career. Uncharted territories. I'm already trying to think what I'm going to give my review because as you know, actually you don't know, why did I say that? I also try and find a review for this film to place into Letterboxd. My Letterboxd should be linked. I have said that 3 times and I haven't actually linked it yet. So hopefully this will be the reminder and I will actually link it. But I'm going to try and make a review for it. I gave this film 1 star. It's one of my low-rated films. It is a young street... if you know the game, you know the film. But I'll read it anyway. Fortune favors the bold. A young, street-smart Nathan Drake and his wisecracking partner, Victor Sully Sullivan, embark on a dangerous pursuit of the greatest treasure never found, while also tracking clues that may lead to Nathan's long-lost brother... Right, yeah, okay, no, that is right. For some reason in my head, for a second, I've had it as that Mark Wahlberg was the brother. No, I guess not. I don't really remember this film. I never played Actually, no, I played one of the games, but I wasn't big enough into this to, like, know that, they were fucking this up or something. Like, I don't remember. First things first, I'm the rudest. Second thing second, Ruben Fleischer, who are you, mate? What have you done? What other films have you done? Would this be considered his magnum opus? He's done Venom. Okay, this is the thing about directors, is I know like a shockingly low amount. So it always interests me to go through these films and find other ones they've made. Because in my head, this is all they've ever done. You've done this film and that's it. And I don't even mean that just for directors who have done films I don't like. I mean that like for... great films that I've watched for the first time, I'll be like, who's this Scorsese fella? Let's check out some others. You know what I mean? And then I'm like, oh, he's done all of these as well. Like, to me, I'm surprised he's done Venom's here. Wait 1 minute. He did Zombieland and Zombieland Double Tap. That's the new one. I guess I've seen neither of these. I think one of these people like. And to be fair, I was acting like he's made a bunch. He's done Zombieland, Venom, and Uncharted. And I'm guessing he'll probably do Uncharted 2, which they are unfortunately making. That's part of the reason why I chose Uncharted, because at least it's also semi-relevant now, I guess. Because I read on Twitter the other day, they just finished the second script. They should never have finished the first script. The script isn't awful. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's not the main problem here. It's more just that, the film is just very mid. It's very mid. And to have it as such a low rating is kind of feeding into something I was claiming I'm not really about, which is hating films because they're nothing. The worst thing a film can be is a film that makes you feel nothing. I'd rather take an awful film that at least made me feel angry than a film that was just nothingness, which I don't usually subscribe to, and I still don't. Like, although I've given it a 1 star because it's mid, I would still rather watch a mid film than a film that actively enrages me, because my brain was on Mars, not in a good way, after I'd seen Thor: Love and Thunder. That is the most recent like film I've watched that I thought was bad, because I've became very good. I'm very good at going to see films that I know I will probably like. Like a lot of people who love movies or something, a lot of the films they probably see that year, they probably didn't like. People make like top 10 lists of top 10 best films I saw this year, top 10 worst films I saw this year. First of all, I'm trying to think, did I even see 10 films this year, like new ones? Second of all, I couldn't make a worst list. It'd be the same as the best list, but in reverse, because I'm very good at, I'll watch a trailer, I'm going to think about it, I'm an R about it, I'm going to be indecisive, and I'm only going to go if I think I'm probably going to like it. And worst case scenario, I go and I go, yeah, it was alright. It's very rare, you know. And Thor: Love and Thunder, I'm more going out of. I feel obliged to make sure I see every Marvel film just because I feel like I'm locked in now, and I can't not. And that's the only reason. I don't know when that's gonna wear off. Give it a couple weeks, months. I don't know. To be fair, you'd argue if it hasn't worn off yet, it never will. But you know, we'll see. Anyway, this is always the case. We're meant to be talking about one film, and we start talking about complete other franchises, and then we get to like the final 2 minutes, and we're like, oh yeah, Uncharted. So from what I remember, Tom Holland's running around, he's doing his thing. And that's the thing. It's one of those films where it's like no one's really playing anyone. Everyone kind of just feels like they're an exaggerated version of themselves. Tom Holland's playing a more like sort of traditionally manly kind of version of it. He's just Mark Wahlberg. No one like falls into anything. Like sometimes you'd watch Tom Holland films after Spider-Man and go, am I gonna watch this and am I gonna be able to not see Peter Parker? Am I gonna be able to see Tom Holland be someone else? And this was one of those films where you're not watching it thinking, oh, I'm just seeing Peter Parker, or I'm just seeing, I don't know, an iconic Mark Wahlberg character I can't think of. You know, you're just kind of watching and going, that's Mark Wahlberg being generic, and that's Tom Holland. And you know, Tom Holland is surprisingly kind of proud of this film because all like the physical stunts, and he's done a lot of his own stunts on it, and he's like, I don't know what other reason it would be apart from that. Those are the reasons I've heard him give. It surely can't be like you've been a leading man. You've been, you know, so I don't know what else it would be because there's nothing really spectacular about it. I think it also made decent money after COVID. Came out, well, 2022 is not like soon after COVID. I genuinely don't remember how long COVID lasted. But, so I don't know. I remember it made decent money. But yeah. I mean, I'd like to actually know. Oh, here's another thing I usually mention. Now, this bit of my taste, this is probably the best taste I've given so far, because usually the whole thing is I, you know, notoriously have bad taste. So a lot of the films that I don't like, yeah, they just tends to be, I think so far, what have we done so far? We've done like Soul, we've done Rogue One. A lot of the films that I've done, because on Letterboxd you can see what everyone else's average rating has been for the film. It's like a 5-star rating. And on average, they've been like 3.9, 4.1, 3.8. This one, to be fair, is 2.6. So this is the lowest so far, which is, you know, makes me at least feel confident in delivering these opinions, knowing that I'm safe, basically. I've given it a 1, which is lower than a 2.6, obviously. And is it truly that bad? No, sometimes I'm a bit harsh to films. It's not really like a 1. If you're actually thinking about like a 1 film, you know, there's like Grown Ups 2 or something. Like, it's not outrageously bad. It's more just like, I think it's because it's Tom Holland and it was a part of his career, and I was rooting for him a lot, and I wanted him to make sure you pick the right roles. And I think The Devil All the Time was a good choice. I think it was an interesting pick, and I think he gives a really good performance in it, along with Robert Patterson. Is it Pattinson or Patterson? I think it's Patterson. I always forget which way around. You know, I think they give some good performances in that film. And I just feel like Uncharted was just one which was like, you know, it just didn't need to be there. You could kind of say the same for, what's that one where they hear voices? I never remember. And this, it does bring cast. I can click Tom Holland here, and then hopefully I'll be able to find what that film was called. Not The Devil All the Time. The Impossible, no. The Heart of the Sea, no. You ever click on the actors like IMDb and then you just see like a bunch of movies you've never even heard of, and you think, when did they have the time to even do these? Like, will they do, like, what era was this, and when was he squeezing this in? Because there's about 1,600 films, and I'm like, when did he ever? I don't see it, which is annoying. I don't think these movies are in release date order. I feel like it would have been higher than this. Oh, wait, no. Chaos Walking with Daisy Ridley. Yeah. Uncharted worse though, because I feel like Chaos Walking that went through post-production hell and was like, just took forever to come out, and he actually probably signed on to it like pretty soon after being in a couple, like one Spider-Man film, whereas Uncharted, yeah, the time he would have signed on, it felt like he didn't need to do that in that point of your career or whatever, and it's just, I don't know. It's him playing Nathan Drake as well with such classic sort of Twitter fan casting. where it's just not great. It's just sort of, oh, we need leading man, this ethnicity, who's the most popular at the time, or whatever, and then that's kind of how fan casting goes. So yeah, I mean, ask me to remember the film. The film is like sort of two, sort of two or three action set pieces that are taken from the games, from across different games, which already I don't think people like. When you sort of take something from the fourth game, the first game, you just all try and put it into one. People never like that. I feel like Percy Jackson does that. People who read the books, they don't like that. What else? I think Avatar, that film that came out, people don't like that. To be fair, you know, they did try and take it longer with the new TV show, and people still don't like that. But you know, the point is that they basically went, okay, we got about 5 games, so however many, I don't know. What are like the 3 most iconic sort of action pieces, or some of, take those, and then let's just try and build a film around it. Bunch of sort of just traveling to get to these set pieces, and the set pieces in themselves are just fine. You know, they're just fine, because this isn't like a Tom Cruise production. It's not like we're actually going to chuck Tom out of a plane and see if he can hang on to the end. Like, no, he's just like jumping from crate to crate in the background, and obviously, you know, it looks fine, but it's not like interesting. It's one of those films where you'll have like, for me, right, in a film where they're like, everyone's fighting to get this treasure, this gold, these artifacts, whatever the fuck it is. How do they word it actually, real quick? Because they worded it in like a certain way in the bio, or the synopsis, not the bio, which I want to find. I want to find it quick. The greatest treasure never found. You've described this treasure as the greatest treasure never found, right? And from what I remember, it just looks like movie props. I don't like it when it's like you got to put like a dagger key into a thing and turn it, and it looks like plastic, and it just looks like something you can get from Argos or something. Like the treasure just looks like gold painted cups. Sometimes you watch a film, and the armor and the costumes look like costumes, and the gold and the treasure just looks like, you know, it just something. I don't know what they do better on certain sets and other sets, but sometimes they just look like props, they look like costumes, and sometimes you don't think about it because they just look right, they just look real. Let's find what some other people have said about Uncharted. Let's see if they was kinder or meaner than me. So we got the top 3 reviews here. These are the 3 most popular reviews, I guess. We got, it's far more rewarding to watch a cutscene compilation of the games on YouTube. That's basically what I said. I didn't steal that, by the way. But no, it's like they've taken some cutscenes and, you know, just tried to make a movie around that. Mark Wahlberg is literally in a Papa John's right now. I don't know what that's referencing. I'm sorry, it's a fantastic meme. And the third one says Tom Holland was literally just playing Spider-Man without his powers. I think that's lazy. That's lazy and harsh. He's not playing Spider-Man. He's not like this sort of really childish sort of... yeah, that's just wrong. That's just wrong. Zara, sorry, no, wrong. That got 3,305 likes. Wrong. No, I reject it. I think he's playing nothing like Spider-Man. I think he's just playing sort of generic kind of guy. Yeah, I want to get the treasure. Like, he's not, you know, I wouldn't say that. And let's read a real review, actually, which is outside of a meme. Like, last time I had a really long one. This one says, Uncharted is already so cinematic as a video game. This one should have been teed up for an easy success. It was never going... Wait, sorry. This one should have been teed up for an easy success. It was never going to be good, but it could have been fun, well-paced, Saturday evening action romp. Instead, they chose to mash together random set pieces and plot threads from all of the films, regardless of how much sense they made together, and created this terrible Frankenstein of a film. They could have had this one in the bag. Alas, my unmitigated hatred of Mark Wahlberg was gonna knock a few additional stars off this regardless. Lovely there. Thank you, Winterpunk. Yeah, and that's why I don't get how they're doing a second one. Because, like, it's not that type of thing where, oh, okay, we've heard the feedback, we're going to try this stuff, we're going to sort of change it, sort of make it work for you. Because some of the biggest complaints is you just mashed everything together. So with that being a complaint, that's not something you can actively rework and change for the second one, because you've already mashed it up. So you already have mashed up pieces left for you to use. You can't change that, which means if you're making a second one, those problems are going to remain the same. Which means this movie is never going to be viewed as better, because it's going to be having the exact same problems. That it has to be a mishmash story because of how you did the first one. So, you know, and projects that get announced and get released and then worked on and whatever, it's like when you're just so certain what they're gonna be before they even come out. It's just like, what are we doing here? It's like, why? I didn't write a review. I was about to end this. I got to write a fucking review and I haven't got one in mind. Uncharted. I really want to try and avoid, because my mind, and I have to do something like this. It's like, okay, Uncharted. How can I just work an Uncharted pun into it? Uncharted territory. This movie, wades into uncharted territories of bad. I'm like, no, you've done that for like the last three. Try and avoid just the easy cop out kind of pun kind of review, and let's try not something long, but let's try and give something different at least this time. Uncharted. I really don't know, and this is the first time I've had to like think while also simultaneously having to speak, so it's quite difficult. I'm gonna go with Uncharted. I can't think of one right now, so I'm gonna do the pun thing, and I'm gonna go for it's very similar to my Rogue One review, and I apologize for that. But Uncharted, more like Unwanted. I know it's shit. I'm sorry. I need to stop these. I'll think of something better next time. Uncharted, more like Unwanted. But it's true, no one asked for it. I think people did at a point think it would be cool and did ask for it. And they just thought it would be cool if it was Nathan Fillion at one point in time, until he basically aged out completely. And he was probably too old even when people did want it. But that's my review. That's load. Go to my letterbox if you want. Who cares? And that's Uncharted. A very boring film.